Hi there, Jeff here from the Wetsuit Centre, talking to you today about the ONeill Psychofreak 5.4 wetsuit for winter 2014 into 2015. So, the Psychofreak has been a popular wetsuit over the last couple of years from ONeill, especially for winter. Very, very lightweight wetsuit, loads of flexibility, but without compromising too much on warmth. And they do that with the air insulated neoprene running through the whole wetsuit, and now the introduction of the Techno Butter neoprene. And this wetsuit, the difference between this and last year's, predominantly is the thickness of the suit, but also they're now using the Techno Butter 2 neoprene. Okay, run through the differences. Basically, the weight of the wetsuit has changed slightly. You used to have the option of a 3.5 thickness and a 4.5 thickness. I think it's like 4.53 and 3.53 or 3.52.5. All a bit confusing and a bit unnecessary. So basically, just to simplify it, they've made it a 5.4. Good old-fashioned 5.4. And I think the extra weight in the wetsuit is pretty well welcomed with most people that sort of look towards ONeill, especially the Psychofreak. Some of the feedback that we had previously was that although the 4.5 is a great, really, really flexible wetsuit, with all the sort of like bells and whistles in the world, 4.5mm in a really cold winter, there's no substitute for thick neoprene, and so the extra half mil is just going to take that sort of doubt away from people who are looking towards the Psychofreak. You know, you're going to get loads of flexibility, but you're not going to be compromising on warmth now. So I think it's a good thing. I think 5.4 is more kind of sensible. There's no point. I know you're trying to add flexibility, but there's no point sort of compromising on warmth and perhaps giving it a bit of a bad reputation for warmth. So the 5.4 lays any of those sort of doubts to rest, and now it's loads of flexibility, but with all the warmth you'd expect from a winter wetsuit as well. So, that and the Techno Butter 2. So now, those of you who aren't familiar with the Techno Butter neoprene, basically it's the same rubber that you would get in an Ultraflex wetsuit or a super stretch wetsuit, sort of like a top quality neoprene. But the actual jersey that lines that suit is different. The Techno Butter has a lot less cotton than the actual jersey. And that's the reason why it's so lightweight and flexible, because there's a lot less restriction, because there's a lot less cotton there. Actually makes it dries quicker as well and feels incredibly soft, and that's the secret, basically, less cotton, and it really makes a huge difference. When you actually pick up one of these suits, they're so incredibly light, it gives you a lot of confidence that it's not going to be a restrictive wetsuit, so it's a really nice positive thing. The Techno Butter 2, which is new to this year, is essentially the same neoprene. What they've done is they've devised a way of making the suit kind of Velcro proof, so whereas you previously had problems with the Velcro attaching to the wetsuit itself and causing it to bauble, that no longer happens. It actually pulls straight off and doesn't damage the suit in any way, and doesn't get sand trapped in the suit as well. So that's something to do with the weave of the jersey. They've stopped that happening. I think it might be the sort of like just the pattern of it. But I'll demonstrate that in a second when I turn the wetsuit inside out and show you the sort of Velcro trick, but it's quite cool. And it is definitely sort of a previous thing which sort of ages the suit with all that baubbling. So those are the primary differences between the two. The actual features of the wetsuit I'll run through with you now. So 5.4, 4mm of neoprene around the shoulders, the upper body where you need more flexibility, and there's loads of flex in the suit. And then you get 5mm on the lower body. Now these seams are sort of pinched in, so you get like a really thin seam there. They pinch it over the top, and that just allows a better seal against your boot or against your leg. And I'm same with the wrist. That's much more comfortable, very flat against the skin. And the idea of this wetsuit being a lightweight performance wetsuit, then all of these things do help to make it more comfortable. Around the inside of the cuff, you do get like a liquid taping there as well, and that just basically allows a better bond against your wrist, again promoting less water into the wetsuit. That purple material, you can see that's the Techno Butter 2. I'll turn it inside out in a bit though, so you have a proper look. The wetsuit itself then is, the middle part of the suit is all 5mm, 4mm on the arms as I said before. It's a stitchless wetsuit, which means that there's no stitching. No stitching means less restriction, essentially. And then the two pieces of neoprene are butted up together and glued, and then they're taped with this very thin welding, which creates it pretty much impossible for water to get through the seams there. And that's inside and out, which is interesting because most of the guys in the other manufacturers these days are going with like a standard taping inside, like a flat sort of like neoprene tape. ONeill have opted to go with the sort of power seams inside and out, and I guess that makes them very, very strong seams, but also makes it pretty much impossible for any water to get through. You know, it's not going to get through this material. Two lots of that material and glue, it's going to be pretty much impossible for water to get inside the suit. So All of the seams are like that, so no stitching. All of the seams are very, very strategically placed to make sure that they match the contours of the body. So you can see sort of the curving in the lumbar, no break in the lumbar, to make sure that there's plenty of flex through the suit there. Everything is dipped, so it should match the suit, the shape of the body, make sure it doesn't pull you back or feel uncomfortable against your skin. Curved on the arms, around the shoulders, and it's really, really, really carefully thought about to make sure it feels like you're not wearing a wetsuit, basically. So loads and loads of flexibility throughout this suit. Minimal paddling, all kept to a minimum, and any sort of seams that there are bent to match the contours of the body. Okay, you get a key pouch on the leg there, standard Duraflex knee pads to make sure they don't wear through on the knees. And another, probably one of the biggest selling points of the suit, the biggest features of the suit, is the air insulated neoprene. All over the front and the back, and basically the middle layer of neoprene here is potholed. I don't know if you can see that, hopefully you can, but basically like a honeycomb effect, loads of little holes inside there. What happens there is as heat leaves your body, instead of being slowly lost through the neoprene, it's trapped within these little pockets, like little hot air pockets you can imagine. And what that does is your own body heat then insulates you, so you keep warmer for longer. And that's running through the whole of the centre of the suit and around the back. So that was ONeill's technology. That was brought in probably like 4 or 5 years ago, and it was picked up by everyone else, but ONeill was still doing it to the best effect in the Psychofreak. You've got none of that smooth skin mesh across the front and the back, and the reason for that is basically it creates more seams and it makes the suit heavier, and the suit is all about being lightweight. There's no point having that techno butter neoprene if you're then going to weigh it down with loads of thermal lining and that kind of stuff. Having said that, the suit is thermal lined. I'll show it to you in a second, inside out, and it's a really clever techno butter thermal lining, which I'll show you in a second. The chest, the entry, sorry, in this particular suit we've gone through, they do back and chest zip entry, I think, but we're just doing the chest this year. And basically, that's just the over the top system. You've got the toggle there. You've got a PK zip. If I can get it off, I haven't taken the toggle off. Basically, the PK zips are really good. They're really, really robust. They don't seize or corrode or fall off. Minimal problems. You never get any of those back. They always seem to be really good. So they'll last you a long time. You've got that sort of code red zip, I think it is, which is a specially treated zip which stops any water getting through the seam, through the zip. If it does come through, it's just met with the inside of the wetsuit and then drained out through either the arm, the hole in the arm, or around the back, or just through the side of the chest zip there. Okay, so everything's thought about basically. Over the top entry, you just climb in through these 2 panels of neoprene brought up nice and high. You climb into the middle there, get inside, bring it up and over your arms. Nice and easy to get on and off. Loads of flexibility. And then the collar itself is a double lined collar. So 2 pieces of neoprene pushed up together. The inside piece has a smooth sort of skin lining to it. What happens is that will stick to your neck and the outside piece will move independently, stopping any rubbing and making sure that there's the best possible seal with your neck so there's hardly any flush through. Really nice little touch, and does work really well. Might feel a little bit tighter than most other wetsuits, but if you can put up with that, then you're going to get a lot less water into the wetsuit. So up and over, and then you basically turn the suit inside out and climb in. If you need a bit of help in terms of getting a chest zip wetsuit on and off, we do have a wetsuit advice guide page, which has a video on it about sort of checking in and out of a chest zip wetsuit, so hopefully that'll be useful for you. But what I'll do now is I'm going to turn the suit inside out, show you what's happening inside, and go from there. So here we have the inside of the ONeill Psychofreak for winter. So the first thing you'll notice is the different coloured panels. The first thing that's probably worth mentioning is the grey material here. That's the inside of this air insulated neoprene. And as I said before, it's kind of like a thermal lining. If you ever have like an ONeill Epic or one of the cheaper sort of thermally lined suits, and then you can get this on the chest and back panel with some of the suits, and it's kind of like a really tightly woven polypro almost. And what they've actually found out with tests, this sort of tightly woven sort of polypro is actually a lot warmer than the standard sort of fluffy stuff. So although it's not as aesthetically pleasing and sort of psychologically warming, the actual sort of results show that this tightly woven polypro is lighter weight and it is actually just as warm as the sort of fleecy furry stuff. So that runs the whole way through the inside of the suit, right the way down to the knees and right around the back as well. See all that sort of blue lightweight taping as well, that's all of the power seams throughout the whole suit. And then the purple area, as I mentioned before, is the Techno Butter 2. Now the Techno Butter 2 is that sort of new lining to the suit, which gets rid of the sort of sand collecting in the suit. So just nice to keep sort of upkeep and maintenance on your suit. What we'll do is hopefully, if I can find a suit with a bit of Velcro, borrow a little rating number here. I'll show you the sort of lack of Velcro sort of adhering to the suit. So it still does grip, but it's not damaging the suit in any way. But you can see that it comes off real easy, so there's no baubles there at all. It's obviously not going to be too much of a problem with a chest zip anyway. But when you've got all your sort of gear bundled together, if you have a back zip, and when you've got all your gear bundled together, stuff like your boots and whatnot, and a lot of the time you find that neoprene grips against your suit, the Velcro grips against your suit, and it can cause damage. So although it's not a huge change or advancement, it is kind of cool. I think it's kind of a good idea and something that's beneficial to give you a longer shelf life out of your suit. But essentially that's everything happening on the ONeill Psychofreak 5.4 Winter Wetsuit 2014 into 2015. That Techno Butter 2 does run through all of the sort of top end suits like the Psycho 3, which does have that Velcro back zip. So it's worth noting. But yeah, really nice wetsuit.